All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
And we are here. I'm Andrew. That's Ethan over there. Hello. Today we, slow news week, relatively speaking. There's a lot of news at the beginning of the week.
Wednesday last week, you were talking to me like, wow, we already have 4 pieces of news. It's going to be a crazy news week this week. We still have 4 pieces of news.
Blame me, jinxing that. But yeah, let's get into the reviews.
And now for last week's race reviews.
Review the Daytona 500. But first, we'll just briefly skim over the trucks series. Nick Sanchez won. You had Spencer Boyd with his new team finishing 5th. Carruth finished 3rd with his new team, and he also caused the big one on the last lap. Stefan Parsons finished 6th with his new team. And then you have a couple underdog drivers finishing in the top 10. Brett Holmes 4th, Timmy Hill 8th, and Brian Doza 9th. Moving over to ARCA, which happened today, or another pre-poned race. That was a rough race to watch. Moving on to Xfinity Series. That was an race. A lot of guys DNF'd. But Austin Hill won, as I predicted. You know, Ethan, sometimes my genius is almost frightening.
Sometimes, not often.
Yeah. Moving to the big show, the Daytona 500 rained out to Monday. Called it pretty early in the day while I was waking up. You had our go homers were BJ McLeod and what would become JJ Yaley as we predicted. Good job, Ethan. Good job, me. So moving on from that. Daytona 500 happened.
Eventually.
I was watching for a bit in my class. Got my assignments done, if anyone was wondering. So was able to be productive.
Good multitasking.
Yeah. And in that stage, you had one wreck. That involved Keselowski, as it always does. He always seems to be in the middle of wrecks at super speedways. I don't know why that is. He's just an aggressive pusher, I'd guess. But that was not necessarily his fault, that wreck in the beginning. Caused Kaz Grala, Harrison Burton, and Carson Hocevar to DNF. Austin Dillon took big damage from it, never the same. Jimmy Johnson, same thing as Austin Dillon, which is unfortunate because I think everyone wanted to see Johnson run well in his Daytona 500. It could be his last Daytona 500. You never know. And then it's a relatively quiet race. A lot of exciting action, passing, pitting, different strategies, which you all love to see. Until a few laps to go when William Byron decided to do his best Chick Hicks impersonation.
It wasn't his fault.
And it wasn't his fault, but it's still funny to say. And have a huge portion of the field a wreck.
It was really really a crazy crash. I mean, it kind of just seemed like we were watching the race, we were saying that it just feels like something's gonna happen. Like you can feel that something's gonna happen, and finally got the big one. And I mean, so many cars were involved. It seemed like only like 20 cars survived that crash. It went in. The race went under a red flag,
We got dinner.
We did. We got Chick-fil-A. And very funny story. Andrew basically just ordered and ran back to the TV as fast as he could.
Well, yeah, I'm not waiting for you guys. I'm watching my race.
Me and Morgan,
Shout out Morgan.
Shout out Morgan, friend of the podcast. You all know him. We were waiting at Chick-fil-A for our food still. Morgan came a little later, so I guess really I was waiting for him. But we were waiting. We were watching the race on my phone. And the race started to get back underway.
Resume, yeah.
We walked back to the elevators, went up the elevators. And as we were in the elevators, William Byron crossed the line and won. And the first thing I did when I got out of the elevators was point at Andrew and say, ha ha, because I picked William Byron to win about 20-ish laps before Andrew said that William Byron would not win the race. I know ball better than Andrew, even when it comes to his own sport.
Well, the funny thing is Ethan, I think I should give you the point that you suggested instead of the 5 points for the victory with William Byron causing the wreck.
No, that was an additional point.
No,
but we're not counting that.
Ethan wanted me to give Byron a point for causing the wreck and
he didn't cause the wreck.
And getting through the wreck unscathed. Those were his words, not mine in that position. I guess he has changed his stance.
I wouldn't mind 6 points, but I'll take the 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there was the crash on the last lap. Chastain was involved. It happened. Started with Cindric and Joy.
That's what led to Byron winning.
Yeah,
that race ended under caution.
It was very close. If they let it, it was weird because I thought it was an odd point for them to call the caution because normally if they're quick on the button, they're quick on the button. They'd be quicker than that, and they might have been able to get another overtime in, but they weren't. But then they normally if they don't get it, they let it play out a little bit, as they did in the Xfinity race, which was a weird finish. But they didn't let it play out. I think if they let it play out a little more, Alex Bowman would be your winner. It would have been interesting to see. Chastain did have a good run, but it was a very interesting race. But they did have that NASCAR posted the picture of where they had the caution and where Byron was ahead of Bowman. So good job, NASCAR. You deserve a cookie for showing us that. Some other things I'd like to know. Legacy Motor Club. There are 2 cars that they finished. Both got top 10s. First time with Toyota. Good run with them. You had Bowman finish second on his bounce back. Elliott looked fast in his bounce back year, both coming off injury. Dinger in his part-time schedule finished 6th. Noah Gragson with his new team finished 9th. Zane Smith finished 13th and is leading the rookie points. So yeah, that's about all from the Daytona 500. With the pick points, I am leading right now. 11 was because I got 5 for Hill, moving me from 6 to 11. Ethan got Byron right, so that moved him from 1 to 6. And the guest, they had Heim, who was the highest finisher, moving them from 7 to 8. So that puts me 11, guest 8, Ethan 6. Still close. That can change this week again. Flip the order around. It could possibly be Ethan first, guest second, me third. So, still earlier than the year, still really doesn't matter. But every point matters.
Yeah. I'll catch you.
Yeah, you'll catch me. Will I pass you back? Probably.
Nah.
Will the guest pass us? Yeah, because that's how things work.
Andrew, do I need to remind you who won last year?
Yeah, but
it was me.
My point is this: the picks points are a lot like the Daytona draft. You can go from last to first and first to last in a real hurry.
Yeah, I'm going last to first. Thank you for proving my point.
And then
moving on, next segment.
And then you'll go back.
No, next segment.
And
next
now
segment.
For the news.
And now for the news.
Only IndyCar news this week. Starting off with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing confirms Takuma Sato for the Indy 500.
Indy 500 legend Takuma Sato.
He's 2-time, looking for 3-time.
I would put him in some pretty elite company.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. He'll be running the number 75 to go with Rahal's deal of running numbers that are multiples of 15, 15, 30, 45, and 75. Unfortunately, they cannot run 60 because Shank has that.
Only 6 drivers have won the Indy 500 3 times or more.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see if Taku can get there. Solid driver. I'd imagine he's an Indy 500. He's an Indy 500 specialist at this point. But even when he was full time, he was the Indy 500 specialist for a team who had 2 of their cars on the last row shootout and an additional car missing the show last year. This is what Rahal needs, a guy who was great at the Indy 500. This is a match made like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. I saw something interesting the other day.
You did?
Yeah. When you think of peanut butter and jelly, what jam do you picture?
Grape?
I picture strawberry.
Really?
And I was so surprised that so many people thought grape. I mean, like, to me, it's just, like, obviously strawberry, but so many people think grape. Do you prefer grape jam, jelly?
I'm not a big jelly consumer, so I don't think I have an opinion on the matter. But the one that was always in my house growing up was grape jelly.
Mm.
There was sometimes your strawberry jelly. I don't know what other flavors of jelly. And now watch all the jelly people come at me in the comments.
Today, on the Loose Wheel podcast, we talk about jam.
Yeah.
That's the worst accent I've ever done in my life. I apologize to everyone.
Could be worse. But I do like some jelly from time to time. But yeah.
All right. Moving on, I suppose.
Moving on, IndyCar moves the season finale from the Nashville streets to the Nashville Super Speedway. And it's just really a speedway. They call it the Super Speedway to make it sound cool. And I quite frankly don't blame them. I'm not surprised by this because of the stadium construction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Last time
would make it a bit of a spectacle.
Yeah. I do like seeing Indy Nashville street circuit, even though they were going to do a different one. This time because of the construction. I still want it to happen. I do love the Nashville race. It is very chaotic. However, I don't know if I would have liked it for the finale. But I do like the Speedway because it's another oval. I do like ovals. I do think IndyCar I think it should be, with 18 races, it should be 6 ovals, 6 street circuits, 6 road courses. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Well, here's my thoughts on it.
I do like the oval because it's not like any other IndyCar ovals in that it's bigger than all the ones except for Indianapolis.
So, like you said, that would be balanced, but that's just not the way IndyCar is right now.
Yeah.
So to me, and I understand, like, it is a spectacle, like I said a few minutes ago, but ending a championship that is the large majority of it isn't ovals. Ending it on an oval, I don't know. It's a bit of a curious decision in my mind. I thought the Laguna Seca ending worked well. It's a I mean, I don't know if you could. I guess you could say it's a historic track.
It's an historic. Yeah.
It's a good track for a season ender, in my opinion. So I don't know. I kind of just think like if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But we'll see how it plays out this year.
I do think it's better as an oval than a street circuit. Even though they did have the finale in 21 in Long Beach, which was I did like that, but I do think it's just better. And then you have, outside the Indianapolis 500, all 5 of the oval races are in the last 7 events, and then 3 of the last
that's just weird.
Or 4 of the last 5.
That should be more spread out.
Well, the thing is with your ovals, they're in northern parts of the country, Iowa, Indianapolis, Wisconsin, Illinois, but and Tennessee, like they had your southern tracks like your St. Petersburg, Long Beach, Alabama, they're not ovals. You want to get them out of the seat way before it gets hot down there, because that's how weather works.
That is how weather works. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. But yeah, they still could throw Iowa or Milwaukee in June.
Yeah, I just think it could be balanced better. Even if you're going to different ovals, the overall structure of the schedule, like you said, because I mean that's kind of what makes IndyCar unique, racing on so many different types of circuits. Play into that, but make the overall where they line up in the season more
efficient.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sure, that works.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because some guys aren't good at ovals, so they'll have to have a big points buffer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I like it like that.
It'll be interesting because you have your Penske guys are great on ovals, and your Ganassi guys that are generally good at road courses. So we'll see how that turns out. It'll be an interesting thing to look at. But moving on, Maluka's out for 6 weeks following wrist surgery, so that puts him in doubt for the Thermal Club and out confirmed for St. Petersburg. We do know that Callum Ilott will be testing with the team soon, so that is might be an indicator of what could happen.
Probably, one would think.
Yeah, I think both of us would like to see Callum Ilott in the seat. He didn't deserve anything to be removed from Juncos. So yeah, well wishes to David. Hopefully he'll recover from his wrist injury and be back at full strength. I was really looking forward to seeing his season in the Arrow McLaren Chevrolet Mobile. Arrow McLaren Chevrolet just doesn't sound right.
So adding a Mobile at the end of it is just better?
It didn't make it worse, I think. But, yeah. It's interesting that the team McLaren aligns with Juncos was the team that dropped Ilott. So, that's just interesting. We'll see. We'll see who the replacement is, and whether or not Malukas will be able to make it for the Thermal Club. Heading on to the last piece of IndyCar news, Fox Sports making a serious play for the IndyCar TV rights. We already know NBC is going to be making a play along with the CW network. It's good to see Fox Sports just get another competitor, hopefully get a better product out for the fans. Less races on streaming services, more races on over-the-air networks. Hopefully, cross fingers. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I hope I hope Lee Diffie stays because he is great at his job. I don't know who each network would bring to the table. But yeah, it's interesting to see who will get the next contract for INDYCAR. Moving on to the previews.
And now for next week's race previews. That was nicely done.
I don't think so. We have a singular preview. That is the Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hotlanta. Another drafting track. So expect more of the same that you saw in the Daytona 500. But I will say, look for cars racing a lot more on the higher line compared to Daytona, because that's just how Atlanta is. With that said, a lot of teams that ran Daytona across all three national series are skipping Atlanta because 2 drafting tracks in a row. You don't want to write off 2 cars in a row. That's why we have a short field for the Truck Series as we speak. Only 33 out of 36 entries right now. And then Xfinity, only 38 out of 38 cars, which is down from 40-something that we had at Daytona. And Cup, as expected, 37 out of 40. Surprisingly, BJ McLeod showed up. Good for BJ. That $40 million must be kicking in from selling the charter. Just run where you feel like it. Run where you might have a chance. And good for him, man. Hopefully he gets a sponsor, because he ran the duels unsponsored, which probably wasn't the greatest to swallow. But he has $40 million. He was a part of the group that made $40 million. So you took home some of that. But anyway, we'll see a big one. We'll see drafting. We'll see lots of passing. We'll see tight racing. Are you ready to make your picks?
And now for next week's race picks.
As I stated earlier, I am leading the pick points. Got that right.
I am also 1 win away from tying.
Yeah. I'm also 1 win away from making you 2 wins away from tying. So, with that being said, we had a guest who will eventually make his podcast debut, hopefully, sometime.
I don't know this guest.
Yeah, you don't. But shout out to him. He knows who he is.
Does he have a name?
Yes, he does.
Are you going to share it?
No, we'll leave you hanging.
Well, I'm in the dark too.
So, I'll show you his Instagram after this. But Ethan, well, actually, I'm first, so I'll read off my pick. In the Truck Series, you have...
No, I say who I have. You say who you have.
Well, I'm going to say who I have, but I'm going to go first here. In the Truck Series, you have a lot of players. Christian Eckes happens to be a good drafter. I'm picking him. The guest is picking noted bushwhacker, even though this isn't technically the Bush Series, or the Xfinity was once called the Bush Series. And as Ethan said, it's Kyle Busch.
Okay.
Going down, whacking the field, as the guest predicts.
I am picking Nick Sanchez because he has a 100% win rate this season. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? And last year, he finished second. I can't pick who picked first. That's too obvious. But who finished second? I mean, now we're thinking. So, Nick Sanchez, second race of his second year. I mean, there's just too many things that say he's going to win. Finished second last year, only going up.
Mm-hmm. You have thoughts? Moving to Xfinity, I said for Daytona, these races are Austin Hill Invitational, so Austin Hill's going to win. Command C, Command V, same thing, same dance.
Can I change my pick?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because you haven't said it yet. The guest picked Justin Allgaier. He's good at everywhere he goes. Can't be wrong with him. And he's got corn on the car, which the guest is a big corn enjoyer.
I don't like corn.
I don't. Well, corn's all right, but I like it on a car because that looks cool.
I'm picking Austin Hill because last week you were very inspired in your Austin Hill pick. You are this week as well. So, I mean, maybe this is a Max Verstappen last year type situation.
Yeah, but it's super speedways.
Well, yeah, but this is a super speedway.
We won't have one next week. Good news. So for the Cup Series,
I was going to pick Parker Kligerman,
but you didn't.
But I didn't.
Noted podcaster and weatherman Parker Kligerman.
Noted that if Parker ends up winning instead of Austin Hill, I won't get points technically.
But you'll look like an idiot for changing your pick.
No, I look like a genius.
That's up for our interpretation by our 3 listeners. I hope.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi, Mom, as well. Moving on to the Cup Series. We have this my driver and the guest. We picked the same one because great minds, as they say, Ethan, think alike.
They do say that.
We both picked. He's won here before, but before they, I don't remember if it was before they turned it into the current state it is. But Chase Elliott is our pick, and hopefully I will be happy with that pick because he's my favorite. And for Xfinity and Cup, I picked my favorite driver.
I am picking Brad Keselowski because he did pretty good at Atlanta both times there last year. Maybe he gets it done this year. I don't know.
I remember I remind you what happened last year after this race. After the race, Brad Keselowski went straight for a porta-john, and Denny Hamlin, who also finished the race, went to a porta-john and opened the one Keselowski was in.
Maybe you should have locked it.
Yeah. So...
Well, reminding the listeners what happened last time I said, yeah, I'm just going to pick this guy. I don't know. I walked away with 5 points because sometimes my genius is almost frightening.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe your genius will be in the porta-john or somewhere. Who knows?
Who knows?
But that is the beauty of the beast, as they say.
Okay.
Or beauty in the beast. I don't know.
I have no idea what you're trying to say right now, but
yeah,
keep it cooking.
I've cooked up a nice meal. I'm hungry. I need to go eat. And anything else before you'd like to go? Anything you'd want the listeners to know off of your genius?
Yes, bye.
To me, it looked like he actually lost the wheel.
The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect.
Wheel on the track.
Could you leave the wheel loose?
You picked the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.